You want to go
Yeah,
first or you
sure.
want?
I had a relationship in middle school that transitioned into high school,
Okay.
and I took it very
It was
seriously.
very serious.
I don't know about him, but I put my all into that relationship. I honestly, I would say that that was my first love, and that's how, like, I knew how much I could love someone.
Mhm.
Like, I learned that this is what love is, and, like, this is how I want to be treated, and then I learned that he wouldn't reciprocate those feelings back, and then I was like, "What the?"
Middle
But
school
then
boys.
but I
I
think
know.
what was just, like, really what I regret is not realizing that I should have just broken up with him
Mhm.
because there was so many other options going into high school. Like, there was so many other guys that could have
Oh yeah,
treated
and
me
there was a lot of
better.
guys who were into you too.
And I see, I
And
was
I would
so
tell her,
clueless.
I no, we told you. Me and my mom would tell you this guy who was like a senior or junior while you were a freshman is into you, and you're like, oh, but I'm in love with.
But I think I was confused with love and security,
Mhm.
whereas, like, I felt more safe and secure in something I knew and wasn't willing to venture out and experience something that could be potentially heartbreaking.
Mhm.
And so after we moved to California, I ended up having to break up with him
Yeah.
because he was just
But you
like,
guys stayed through all the way.
yeah,
Wow.
it's kinda off and on here and there. We broke up a couple times, but we always got back together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, it was definitely a very good learning experience relationship for me
Mhm.
because I learned what I wanted and what I didn't want and what how to be treated. Because
Mhm.
I remember I would go to all of his baseball games because he played baseball, and I go to all
Oh,
his
wow,
baseball
look at
games.
you.
I went to all his
She's a
baseball
good
games. I
girlfriend.
was a supportive girlfriend, and he never went to any of my events, like, none. Can you believe that?
Yeah, what? I feel like a lot
Yeah,
of girls can relate to that though, like, especially at this age, like, showing up for them all the time, but then just not getting it back. I feel like that's something that happens a lot.
yeah,
So, I guess that's a good sign, like, if they don't put in the effort and, like, the devotion that you do back, it has to be 50-50, or else you're just like,
right.
yeah.
Facts. And I
Exactly.
also think it's just a maturity thing.
Mhm.
Um, they at a young age, we were always told that guys don't mature until they're a lot older. And let me tell you, that is very, very true. Unless they are just an amazing person, which there are guys out there who are very mature at young ages, but for the
Yeah.
most part, you gotta wait till they're older.
Yeah.
But my experience, so I had a boyfriend in middle school that I dated all of middle school for 7th and 8th grade.
Mhm.
And then he broke up with me right before freshman year of high school. And I was devastated. I was so heartbroken. I literally remember just crying in the shower, like thinking, what did I do wrong? Why did he break up with me? It was just, oh, I was literally just my heart shattered because I like was in love with this boy. And so freshman year came along and I would see him. He was still part of our friend group. And so I just had to learn to just be friends with him. And like he started seeing other girls. And then I ended up starting to date a junior on the soccer team, varsity soccer team. And I was like,
Wow.
you know, yeah. And so I dated him for about 4 months. And, in high school, like he was a really good boyfriend and he was a bit different than what I would have actually dated. He was kind of like a bad boy, but he was very sweet.
Mhm.
Um, and he we ended up breaking up because I didn't want to do things physically with him.
Mhm.
And because we were so young and I
Yeah.
didn't want to do that stuff. And I'm pretty sure he broke up with me because of that, which
Yeah.
is very unfortunate. But I know a lot of young girls can relate to that.
Yeah.
Um, if a guy only wants to date you for physical things and that's something you don't want to do, it is totally okay to like break up with them, or if they break up with you, you have to realize that you are respecting yourself and that there is someone better out there for you who is going to respect you. And that guy does not respect you to the point they'll break up with you because you don't want to do something, you know?
Yeah.
And that was like a huge like lesson I learned. I was also very sad about that. But when he broke up with me, I just remember thinking, he texted me we were at a friend's house and he texted me saying, "Hey, we need to break up." And I was like, "Okay." I just said, "Okay." And he said, "That's it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't want to be with me. Why am I going to fight?" Like, I just don't, I was like, he doesn't want me. See ya. Like, I don't want to fight and like be like, "Please stay with me." No, like, I really like you. I just didn't want to be like that.
Yeah,
And it
that's
just
yeah.
really, it messed with his brain. And then like, yeah, to this day, he still messages me here and there sometimes. Not to like date me, but I think he might have felt bad that he broke up with
Yeah,
me at
good
that
for
time.
you
Yeah.
though. Like you're not begging for him to love you. You're not begging. Like you're like, if you don't want me for my personal qualities, my traits, my personality, like bye.
Mhm.
That's so
Yeah.
good for you.
Thank you. And then I ended up that summer before sophomore year, I ended up getting a boyfriend who I ended up dating for the next 4 years of
Mhm.
my life. And he was a freshman in college and I was a sophomore in high school. So, yeah, I was going for the older guys.
Yeah.
And so that relationship was very hard because obviously I was in high school and he was in college.
Yeah.
But we had met in high school. Like he was a
Mhm.
senior and I was a freshman. And it was just it was difficult, but we ended up moving to LA too, so it was a long distance relationship as well.
Mhm. And your
Um,
parents were okay with like both of you dating so young? Because I know some parents just are so ambivalent about that. So
yeah, our parents, well, you would think that because our parents, we grew up in the church and everything, that they would be really strict, but I think our parents just kind of like learned that it was just something that was going to be inevitable,
Mhm.
and that they would just help us get through those things and teach us the right way to be a good girlfriend, to love someone correctly, and how to handle heartbreak, how to handle situations like fights and stuff. Because I would
Right.
ask my parents for a lot of advice when, like, if my boyfriend said something that made me mad, I'd be like, "Hey, what do I do? Like,
Yeah.
why did he say this? How do I respond?" And like they would just guide us and
Mhm.
say, "This is what you could potentially do. It's up to you at the end of the day because
Yeah.
it is your life."
I think they would have rather us be honest and with a that we're dating someone even at a very young age. Like what is dating in middle school? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so but I think they would have rather us be honest instead of hiding it from them.
Mhm.
Like otherwise they would have found out and
They
then it
would
just
have.
would have been bad.
Mhm.
Yeah. And but again, our parents were just so are they're just a lot different from other parents. So we were very, very lucky to have parents who were very understanding and open to letting us have boyfriends. Because I know there's some people who until they're 16 they can't have a boyfriend, or
Yeah.
like until
Yeah.
18 and older. And I respect that, but at the same time I feel like that could be kind of like emotionally damaging because at a young age we always have crushes,
Yeah.
and there's so many things on social media, movies that are so tempting, like you want to have a boyfriend, and it's almost like sometimes like when your mom tells you to clean your room and you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's like when your parents say you can't have a boyfriend, that's when you really want a
Yeah.
boyfriend, and that's when
Exactly.
you will go behind parents backs. And so it's just like to each their own, and it just depends on the relationship you have with your parents. But
Mhm.
for the most part, we always told our parents everything because we didn't want to hide stuff.
Yeah.
That's yeah, that's really